Hi everybody, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Casimira Mostyn and I would describe my artwork as quirky, naive and colourful. I'm also influenced by folk art, such as artists such as Frida Kahlo, Henri Rousseau, who's a naive artist, L.S. Lowry, Alfred Wallace, and so many other artists that I could name. If you're unfamiliar with the term naive art, this often means someone who has not been formally trained at art college, and their art is often out of perspective, very colourful, and comes from the heart, basically, and has a childlike element. And that is exactly the sort of artwork that I'm going to show you today, from the pieces of artwork that I've done over the last 10 years. I'm an artist that works in a very small environment. I have only a one-bedroom flat, and my sitting room is also my workspace, my studio, I suppose you could say. And literally my walls are covered in my artwork. So I started about 10 years ago to paint when I had to give up work due to health reasons. And just like in this lockdown now, due to the coronavirus, like a lot of you were thinking, what shall I do with my life at the moment? You can't go to work, you've been furloughed, and that's really tough. So a lot of you will probably be like me. You'll start to paint and you'll be surprised just, what comes from the heart. And, this, for some of you, this could be a new journey, although obviously the art world is a difficult journey to make money from. But so about 10 years ago, I started to paint these hares, very colourful, quirky, sort of psychedelic hares. And I started just listing them on eBay, actually, and they started to sell. And I was really quite surprised that people actually wanted to buy my artwork. And then in 2012, I produced a range of greeting cards. So some of them were from my hares, my quirky hares, and some of them were from scenes of Oxford, from, near where I live in Bicester. So I just want to show you my sort of hair sort of greeting cards that I've produced. So here we go. So here are some of the range of sort of quirky psychedelic hairs that I've produced over the years, which I've made into greeting cards. And I'd also like to show you my Oxford scenes. So here are my Oxford scenes, all quite sort of naive, as you can see, sort of childlike element to them, certainly with an influence of L.S. Lowry. Now, in 2012, I took my greeting cards to Annie's Tea Rooms in Thrupp, and they loved them, thank goodness. And they started to sell like hotcakes. And since then, I've been often one of their resident artists and doing very well there. So I'm really lucky. I also often have exhibitions at the Art Cafe in Oxford and at the Art Yard Cafe in Enstone. So that all is going really well. So my artwork, as I said, it started from sort of these quirky hairs and stuff, and then it sort of progressed onto a spiritual tree of life, which I'll show you one of my tree of life paintings. Here we go. So it's very, very colourful as always, with lots of animals and birds and what have you, and flowers and things. And quite often I quite like to put quotes from 1 Corinthians 13 on them. So love is patient, love is kind, sort of reminding people to be kind in life, and so it has a message, a sort of spiritual message towards them. Here is another painting, actually, of another tree of life painting that I've done, and all these you can see, they're all on the internet for sale, either on my website www.casimirasquirkyart.com or on various other online websites. And here we got another tree. So this one has got the words love is patient. I'm not sure if you can see it. You can see the word patient there, certainly. So it's also very colourful. So I also love to do all sorts of things. So here's another painting, a sort of seascape painting with 2 little children playing on the sand with their dog. Again, a very sort of naive sort of element to my artwork, raw and rustic. So I have so many paintings on my walls. If I can show you some of my paintings on my walls, So we've got an umbrella painting, which I love doing umbrella paintings, colourful umbrella paintings, and those sell really well. I also sell my work in Buckingham Garden Centre when it's open. Here we go, we've got some flamingo paintings. This one up here is done in watercolour and ink, and I've also used a bit of glitter, and I've stuck on sequins, and I've also used a straw to get these sort of spiky bits to the flamingos, so that's quite fun. We've got some cows. That's a watercolour. So over the more recent years, I've started to progress my artwork into sort of colourful watercolours. Apart from the canvas ones and the psychedelic hairs, I've been doing a lot of watercolour paintings. Quirky again, more quirky perhaps than naive these ones are. Here we've got 3 donkeys, and we've got some hares, and here we've also got some penguins, a penguin family. So we go. I like to also use ink because ink is very bright and colourful. And you will also notice very often I like to put a little bumblebee in my paintings. So, you know, and I often think the bumblebee is goading the animal. Goodness knows what they're saying to one another, but they're having a little discussion. Here we are. We've got a donkey and a bumblebee. And we've got quite a lot of others, which I can't find at the moment. Oh, here we are. We've got a fox, Mrs. Fox, foxy lady with her bumblebee. And we have the actual bumblebee. And I've progressed my work into many other items, such as you've seen the greeting cards. And I also produce these cute little coasters. And prints and tote bags, which you can view on my online gallery. I've got 5 designs of tote bags. So I just want to say I hope you've enjoyed my journey. Oh, one last